Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
કોઈ આવ્યો નથી હજી.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Radhe
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama.
Progress.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, शीला प्रपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी, हरि हरि बोल. All the online devotees, thank you very much for joining. So we'll start the class in about 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for connecting us.
I started it. Why?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So thank you very much again for joining this Friday session, regular session. And thanks to all the online devotees. So let's start. Patient prayer. Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Kishore Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Kishore Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Kishore Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajana Rinjana Yamuna Tiravana Yashodanandana Brajana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Brajana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hey Adama Bhavavinda Hare Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimate Vaisakhikarami Namakrah Shila Shila Prabhupada Dharmini Tasmai Shastra Bhajana Jogini Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunya Paschat Desharani. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Thank you very much. So we'll continue our Srimad Bhagavatam study step by step. So this is a sincere effort from my side to share whatever I have heard from our superiors, from our ISKCON Gurugan and leaders. So if there is any mistake, please forgive me. And also I am going to give you a small assignment. Are you ready? Okay, so this is nothing about the subject matter what we are going to discuss, but this is about making everyone attentive. Okay, so I will be speaking lot of mistakes, definitely, because I'm very neophyte in spiritual realm. So please, at least every one of you find or come out with one fault or one mistake what I have spoken, at the end, so that I can correct myself. This is my humble effort. So thank you again. As we discussed in previous sessions, that before we discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, okay, it's called Grantaraj, because it's Mahapurana. It's the 18th Puran Srila Vyasadeva written. So before we discuss, we invoke some prayers. So offering our obeisances to all our spiritual master, and we'll invoke a prayer where Suta Goswami, he invoked before answering the questions of sages. So he remembered his spiritual master, he offered some prayers, okay, out of which we are going to recite this. So recite after me. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. So here we are offering obeisances. Ekshruta Goswami is offering obeisances to the 5 personalities. So if you can remember from previous session, you can share. Do anyone remember from previous session? Okay. So he is offering obeisances to 5 personalities, as I said. Narayan. Narayan. Who is Narayan? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narayan. Namaskritya is offering obeisances. Naram Chaiva. Naram Chaiva is 2 personalities. Naranarayan Rishi. The first thing, Narayana, Naranarayana Rishi, 2 personalities. Then Narayana, Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva, Narottamam, because they are the supreme most human being, this Naranarayan Rishi. Devim Saraswati. Who is that Devim Saraswati? Saraswati Devi. Now why he is offering? Because he is the goddess of learning. Devim Saraswati. Vyasam. Who is Vyasam? Vyasadeva, who is the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tato Jayamu Udiraye. So these 5 personalities, we always have to remember. So as I said in earlier session, that when somebody asks this spiritual questions, we should not right away jump into answering as though we know everything. We have to first take permission from our superiors, offer obeisances to our spiritual master. If you don't have spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada is our Jagadguru, is our spiritual master, he can offer obeisances to him and take his permission and then speak spiritual matter. Okay, so that is the essence. So then, by hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam in regular class, okay, regularly hearing every time, and rendering service to a pure devotee. So Bhagavatam is considered as book Bhagavatam, also the Bhakta Bhagavatam, a person. So we have to offer obeisances to those Bhakta Bhagavats, okay, such that all our troubles, the inauspiciousness, okay, so are you attentive?
Yeah.
So all our inauspiciousness is completely destroyed. So we have to invoke that prayer. We'll invoke that prayer. I'm just telling the meaning of it. So once all our inauspiciousness is completely destroyed, then the loving service of the personality of Godhead is evoked. Okay, so then it is established. This prayer, please repeat after me. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu bhagreshu
nityam bhagavata sevaya
yam bhagavasya
bhagavati uttama shloke
bhagavate pratamah
bhaktir bhavati naistiki.
bhakti bhavati naistiki.
Here nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Abhadreshu is no all the inauspiciousness. So nashta prayeshu, it's all destroyed. Okay, by attending attentively the Srimad Bhagavatam hearing. Okay, then a person like me who don't know how to speak about Srimad Bhagavatam, so I seek permission from my spiritual master, because spiritual masters are those who can bestow special mercy. Okay, with their mercy, even a dumb person who cannot speak can speak eloquently. Even a lame person who cannot walk can climb and cross huge mountains. So we offer obeisances to the spiritual masters. Please repeat after me. Mukam karoti vachalam
Karoti vachalam
bhangam langayate girim
gangayate
yat kripa tamaham bande
kripatamaham vande
Sri Gurun Deenataranam.
gurudevatam.
So these are the prayers. So again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak. As I said, assignment for you is to find mistakes. Definitely you have to find, because I make a lot of mistakes. Thank you. So I'll tell you a secret, okay, which will make you all happy. And what is the secret? Secret is that we all are, you all are very, very fortunate. Very fortunate. Because unless you're not fortunate, you won't be able to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam. Because to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam, one has to be very, very fortunate. Janmarchita kritam punya. Not this life, many, many, many lifetimes. We have made kritam punya. Srimad Bhagavatam labet. Only then you get Srimad Bhagavatam. You get to hear. In this Bensalem, how many people are there? Population? 1 million? Maybe around that. Less than that. So just imagine, out of 1 million, how many of us are here? 15 people and some online devotees. If you take the ratio, it is very insignificant, isn't it? But still, we should be very happy that we all are very fortunate, because we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam just by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we attain transcendental bliss. Just by reading. Because the syllables of Srimad Bhagavatam, it pours heavy rain. They are given in Sanatana Goswami says that Paramananda Pataya. Please repeat.
Paramananda Pataya.
Prema Varshi Aksharayate.
Prema Aksharate.
Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya.
Sarvada Sarvasevaya.
Sri Krishnaya Namostume.
Krishnaya Namaste.
So it says Paramananda Pataya. Pataya means steady. Okay. If you study Srimad Bhagavatam, it gives you so much Paramananda, transcendental bliss. Because it is Prema Varshi Aksharayate. All the syllables in Srimad Bhagavatam, it pours love. It pours rain of love. And how do we have to serve Srimad Bhagavatam? Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya. So every time, this reading itself is serving Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is serving Srimad Bhagavatam. Serving a devotee Bhagavatam is serving Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? Sarvada, not one time. Okay, today is weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to serve. No, there is no weekend. 24/7. Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya. Okay. So then one might ask, how about sleep? We have to take rest, right? At least when we are awake, we know what we are doing. When we, maybe our consciousness, we completely will dedicate while awake. But while sleeping, we sleep 5 to 6 hours. Are we Krishna conscious at that time? What would be your answer? We are still Krishna conscious. Why? Because, say we all are salaried people, right? We all go to work. Most of us go to work. We work and we get monthly salary. Correct? And that is called monthly salary. Do you really work for a month? Why don't you work for a month? You work only for 20 days, Saturday, Sunday, holiday. But still you get monthly salary. Why don't they call it 20-day salary? No, that monthly salary covers for all those holidays also. That means they are covering your salary for all those days where you take rest. Why? So that you can perform better in your work. Similarly, if you are Krishna conscious when you are awake, you have to take rest. You have to give rest to the body so that you can perform your Krishna conscious better next day. So that is why you are 24-hour Krishna conscious. You are considered as 24-hour Krishna conscious. Like how you are considering monthly salary, even though you are not working monthly, but so that is Krishna conscious. So Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya. Da means time. All the time. Sarvada. You have to be Krishna consciousness. Means you have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because Sarva Vedanta Saramhi. All the Vedas, it's a vast knowledge. Veda Anta. Anta means conclusion. The conclusion of all the Vedas. Sarva Vedanta Saramhi. He means indeed. Indeed, the conclusion of all the Vedas, the essence of that, Saram, Sarva Vedanta Saramhi, the Bhagavatam Ishyate. Ishyate means it is said that Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of the conclusion of all the Vedas. So that is why you have to hear. Third, Rasamrita Triptasya. So that means that a rasa, what you get out of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, once you hear that, where is the need of other scriptures? Once you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, the rasa amrita, nectar. Nectar coming out of Srimad Bhagavatam, if you enjoy that, if you relish that, then what is the need of other scriptures? That is what it says. Sarva Vedanta Saram hi si Bhagavatam ishyate tad rasamrita triptasya nanyat syat pratikvachit. What is the need of other scriptures? There is no other scriptures. So that is why this Srimad Bhagavatam is Grantaraj. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. We say, right? Grantaraj. So we have to daily hear. Last time we discussed what are the benefits of Srimad Bhagavatam. Can anyone tell one point at least? This we discussed on June 2nd session. The very second session of Srimad Bhagavatam series. Okay. The benefits.
By attentively hearing, Krishna will enter through your heart and purify our
Yes.
by taking away anarthas, purifies us.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Saujanya Masaji. So by attentively hearing, okay, Krishna enters through your ears and enters into your heart. So you don't have to do anything. Krishna does everything. See how fortunate we are, how merciful he is. Pravrushta karnarendrena swanam bhavam saroruham. Saroruham is lotus-like heart. Saroruham dunoti samalam Krishna. So he cleans all the malam. Whatever the malam we have, all the 6 malams, what do we have? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madam, Aksarya. So all those malam, Krishna cleans, takes a broom and cleans. Dunoti, Dunoti means clean. So he cleans. Dunoti Samalam Krishna. Salilyasya yata sarat. That means he gives example, like how rainfall, clean water falls in the muddy place. It cleans all the mud area, right? Similarly, all the mud of anarthas, what we have in our heart, Krishna cleans. All that we have to do is hear attentively Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the benefits of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we also discussed how Bhagavad Gita, we made a chain relation between Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through that within 5 minutes, then we'll come to the subject matter. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sarva Dharman Paritejya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So unless you surrender, in 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, unless Arjuna surrendered, Krishna didn't speak. Krishna didn't speak. So Arjuna said, Shadimam Pam Prapannam. Okay, so I surrender unto you. Then only Krishna started speaking Bhagavad Gita. So similarly, unless you surrender, then you won't. So similarly, he is demanding in last chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna saying that you surrender unto me, Sarva Dharman Paritejya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. So I Masuchaha, I said, don't worry, I'm there to take away all your sinful acts. So one person may ask that I'm so sinful all these days. From my birth or from the consciousness I had, I've been committing so many sinful things. So is there a chance for me to better off? Krishna says that Sarva Dharman Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, surrender unto me. I will take care of all your sinful reactions. Ma Suchaha, don't worry. Ham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo, he says. Moksha Isami, not only take care of that, I'll give you moksha also. Hey, Krishna is so merciful. So there he says Sarva Dharman Paritejya. But previous chapter he says here, give up all the dharma, right? But it's little contradictory. If you go to previous chapters, he says that why he came to this earth, why he came to this planet?
Because there was a lot of adharma.
Yes.
And he has to build it.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata pyuttanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamiham paritrana sadhuya. What? Dharma samstapa. Yes, you're there. Dharma samstapa. There is establishing dharma, and in the 18th chapter he's saying, give up the dharma. Is it contradicting? When you have to give up dharma, why you have to establish? So that is very clearly defined in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is why we need to have that link actually. Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it ends there, surrender and give up all the dharma. If you give up, then what dharma should I take? That is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the linkage. So Bhagavatam, we already discussed. Bhagavatam, right? What is Bha? Bha means bhakti. Srimad Bhagavatam gives you bhakti. Ga gives you jnana, knowledge. Ga gives you knowledge. Bhagava. Va gives you vairagya. Bhakti, jnana, vairagya. We need all these three, right? To elevate in your spiritual life. We need all these bhakti, jnana, vairagya. Bhagavatam. So for that you need tattva, philosophy. You need. So Bhagavatam is that which gives you jnana, bhakti, vairagya. It is very important. Jnana also, to acquire jnana, you don't have to blindly acquire, right? First, it has to be bona fide. It has to be from our parampara, the disciplic succession. So one has to be very careful from whom we hear this Srimad Bhagavatam, because there are many people outside. They speak eloquent Bhagavatam, very nice. You will get mesmerized. But when it comes to practicing Bhagavatam principles, then they fail. So that is why we have to be very careful in listening from a right acharya. Acharya means achanoti shastrartam. One who follows the shastra is called acharya. So we have to be very careful in from whom we are hearing. Avaishnava mukhodgyirnam shravanam naiva kartavyam. Shastra says Avaishnava mukhodgyirnam shravanam naiva kartavyam. Even though he speaks eloquent, if he is a Avaishnava, Avaishnava means he has all the bad qualities, like 6 anarthas. So they say it is like you have a whole drum, big drum of nectar. No, wonderful nectar, everything offered, nectar. So everybody waits to drink that. But suddenly a snake comes. A snake comes and licks that. So the snake poison enters into that. So even though that is nectar, are you able to drink it now? No, it is like that. Even though it is Srimad Bhagavatam, because it is coming out of a Vaishnava, Mukhodgyirnam, Shravanam naiva kartavya. You should not hear. So you have to be very, very careful in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from whom you hear.
What is Mukta-sanga?
Coming out of the mouth. Mukhodgyirnam. Okay. So last class also we discussed some of the benefits. At the same time, we discussed that, I'm explaining this again because many of you were not there. So even though we take time, but still we'll go through this. Okay. What are the benefits? So how do you gauge if you are in spiritual practice realm? How do you gauge that you are advancing? We discussed this in last sessions. Okay. Is there a meter? Like how you have barometer, thermometer, to test everything, right? To gauge where we are. So in spiritual life, how do you gauge? We have been practicing, we are chanting, eating prasadam, following 4 regulative principles. We're doing all these things. But how do you gauge that we are advancing? What are the parameters which shows the symptoms of our advancement? Can anyone please share? Yes?
Less sense gratification.
Yes, very good. Saujanya Mataji says detachment.
Less sense gratification.
Detachment towards what? Yes, material things. So material desires come down. Trishna, not Krishna. Don't get confused. Trishna. Trishna means material desires. That will come down. Okay. So you can introspect. Now, once somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, how do you know? Srila Prabhupada says this example that if you are hungry, okay, you eat, right? You eat chapatis or whatever you want. You eat prasadam, right? Then should I come to you and say that, hey, your stomach is full, don't eat more? Or will you know yourself, your stomach is full? You will know yourself that stomach is full. Tushti, pushti, santushti. Three things will happen. When you eat prasadam, right? When you're hungry, tushti, pushti, santushti. Tushti is what? Nutrition. All the nutrients you get. Then pushti, you get strength. Santushti. What santushti? Satisfaction. So you get all these three, right? So similarly, when you do devotional service, you yourself will feel the difference. Nobody needs to come to you and say, hey boss, is your material desires coming down? You yourself can see, introspect. 5 years back, I had this deep desire of having this. Oh, no. Without which I cannot survive. But now I don't have that desire. What did change? Is the inflation making you do that? No, not inflation. That is our internal desire. The material desire has come down. Why? Our spiritual desire has increased. So this is what everybody should introspect every time, day by day, because we have been practicing for many years. So we have to introspect. Okay. So material desires come down, spiritual desires go up. Okay. And inquisitive to know more and more. About what? About spiritual matters, not about material matters. So that inquisitiveness should increase, will increase. Athato Brahma Jignasa. So that is a base for a human to be called as human, not animal, because most of the time we are in animal consciousness. I'm talking in general, not the devotee, practicing devotees, but most of the time we are in animal consciousness, right? Animal consciousness is what? There is no difference between animals and me. Why? What is that? Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samana metat pasubir naranam. There is no difference. Eating, mating, defending, and sleeping. Those are common. Animals too, we do. As long as we do the same thing, we are called as animal consciousness, right? But there should be some difference. What is the difference? Dharmo itesham adhiko vishesho. That we follow dharma. And what is our dharma? This highest dharma, what we are doing today, is discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the highest. So first, we have to come from animal consciousness to human consciousness. And the basic first fundamental question as soon as we come to human consciousness is Atatho Brahma Jignasa. Atha Brahma Jignasa. Thereafter, therefore, that is the meaning. Thereafter, what is thereafter? After traveling through, how many species we have been traveling? 84 lakhs. 8.4 million. 8.4 million species. After traveling through all the different bodies, now we have come to human body. Therefore, you have to do Brahma Jignasa. Brahma Jignasa means, Brahma means ultimate, absolute truth, which is what we are going to learn today. Brahma Jignasa, inquisitiveness. Then you are in human consciousness. Once we are in human consciousness, then get the knowledge. We said, right? Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya. So we have to acquire all this. Bhagavata, by Tattva Jnana, Bhagavatam. So get all the knowledge and elevate from human consciousness to Krishna consciousness. See the steps. First, we have to come out from animal consciousness. go to human consciousness, and from human consciousness to Krishna consciousness. It's very difficult directly from jumping to animal consciousness to Krishna consciousness. So that is pure realm. Okay, so we have to build our qualities, whatever we call so-called humans. We should not act like Dvipada Pashu. Dvipada Pashu means two-legged animal. If we behave like animals, or those four things, Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maituna, then we are called Dvipada Pashu. We should not be that. Okay? We have to come to human consciousness and quest for acquiring things. Acquiring things means that which comes with us when we live. Right? For example, you have $100 with you. Okay? You give $50 to somebody. So did your amount reduce or increase? Your amount reduced, right? So that is material things. Material things and material knowledge, if you share with others, it will decrease. But spiritual knowledge is completely reverse. That means the more knowledge you share with others, your knowledge will increase. If you share with 10 people, more knowledge, you get more realizations. 100 people, more realizations. So your knowledge will increase. And that knowledge will come along with you in the next life. See, in this material life, you might have deposited $1 million in your bank. Okay. So suddenly you died. And then next life you still remember because you're so attached to your money. In your consciousness, it will come with you. You remember. Then you go to the bank. Hey, boss, this is my money. Will they give you money? Hey, who are you? Go. No, they're not going to give you money back. But you can encash this spiritual knowledge next life also. Not only next life, any life. You can encash because you have deposited that spiritual balance in the bank. So you can encash it. So that is the beauty of spiritual knowledge. So that knowledge we have to acquire as much as possible, 24/7, right? These are some of the symptoms I'm talking about hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and we have to try to see that Krishna's hand is in everything. Whatever we act, it is also said in Bhagavad Gita. Remember that sloka verse? Shyam Prabhu, that verse in Srimad Bhagavad Gita which says that whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever you eat, yet karoshi yadasnasi yadjuhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat purusha madarpanam, offer it to me. So that should be our consciousness. Whatever you eat, whatever you do, you know that sloka, right? He knows? Oh, great. So whatever you do in your life, activities, kaya, vacha, manasa. Okay, kaya means activities by your senses. Vacha, whatever you speak. Manasa, whatever you think. Kaya, vacha, manasa. All these three things should be dovetailed in such a way that it becomes an offering to Krishna. Then, first thing is, we won't have any fear in life. We won't have fear. This is the secret, how to get away from fear. Everybody is afraid, right? But tomorrow, what happens? So I will have job or not? I'll have money in the bank or not? So I'm so afraid. My kids, whether they'll get good education or not, they're afraid. So much fear is there. Every step, fear. And that fear will go away. That fear will go away when you do yadashnasi, karoshi yadashnasi. Because you see Krishna's hand everywhere. Today something bad happens to me, Krishna's mercy. Something good happens to me, that is because of me, right? No? That is because of Krishna. Good happens to me, bad happens to me, ugly, whatever happens to me, it is because of Krishna. So if we cultivate this consciousness, then our fear will go away. Fear means what? False evidence appearing real. Remember this. Fear means the event which has not happened actually. It is going to happen in the future. Thinking that, we are afraid. False evidence appearing real. Fear. Okay, remember this. So that fear you won't have if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And how we are advancing. So we have to introspect all these symptoms, whatever I'm saying, they have to introspect such that then we'll know, okay, we are advancing. We are in the right path. Because the process is genuine. Okay, if it is not working for you, if it is working for you only, then there is no problem in the process what we are following. There is a problem in the way you are following. It should work for everyone. This is Sanatana Dharma. It should work for everyone. The process laid out by our acharyas, process laid out in our disciplic succession. Okay, it works for every living entity. Okay, so we have to introspect with all these symptoms. So that should be a consciousness. And when we acquire more and more knowledge, the first symptom which comes out, these are many symptoms, but first symptoms which are very obvious, other people can also see that he becomes Mitabhashini. You know what is Mitabhashini?
Speak less.
Speak less. Speak only what is required. Don't speak nonsense. That is called Prajalpa. Mitabhashini. Who is the example? Narada Muni. Narada Muni, when he was young, he was Mitabhashini. Prahlad Maharaj, when he was young, he was Mitabhashini. Okay. Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada was Mitabhashini. How can Mitabhashini? He kept on speaking. He gave hundreds and hundreds of lectures, right? He was talking all the time. How is called Mitabhashini? He was not speaking mundane matters. He was speaking spiritual matters. So Mitabhashini does not mean that you should not speak. You should speak spiritual matters which are beneficial to the speaker and beneficial to the listener. Right? You have to speak such a way, Mitabhashini. It is again defined in Bhagavad Gita. What is that word? You should speak in such a way that it should be pleasing to others. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayet swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva vanmaya tapo uchyate. So you have to speak in such a way that it should be pleasing to others. Anudvega karam vakyam. Anudvega means bewildering. You cannot speak to others such a way that others get disturbed. Anudvega karam vakyam. It should be satyam priyam. It should be truthful. Priyam. Priyam means pleasing. Hitam. Hitam means beneficial. Just make a note of all these points. Huh? Tomorrow you have to implement this. It's not just hearing within these four walls and then following whatever we are doing against what we learned. So we have to speak in such a way that Satyam, truthful, Priyam, pleasing, Hitam Chayat. That comes only by Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Chaiva. Swadhyaya means practice, what we are doing. We are learning Srimad Bhagavatam, we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam. By this practice, Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Chaiva, Vanmaya Tapo Uchyate. By following austerities, that is the austerity of speech. Now, Bhagavad Gita clearly, Krishna says, what is austerity of speech? Is this. So, you become Mitabhashini and our senses are controlled. We gave nice example last session, two sessions back, right? If you remember, but I don't want to repeat. It's going to take time. Already we are running late. How to control senses? If you don't control senses, right? What happens? We discussed that. With the 5 animals we took example, 5 animals, right? And then those animals, each animal has one senses which are very weak. Because of that one senses, they get devastated. But in our case, all all the five senses are very weak. Very weak in spirituality, very strong in materiality. So what to speak about us? Those animals, just by having one sense, they fall for it and then die. Kuranga matanga patanga bringa meena hata pancha bireva pancha. Like that, right? So in our case, all the five senses are very strong. So what to speak about? So the meter for measuring whether we are advancing or not is we have controlled senses. We have controlled senses. So you have to be very careful. That talk. Ascharyam etadhi manushya loke. Mukundamala, whether you know Mukundamala or not. Kulashekara Alvar says this. No, Kulashekara Alvar. One of the 12 Alvars from South India. Kulashekara Alvar says, Ascharyam etadhi manushya loke. What is so astonishing? Sudam parityajya visham pibanti. You say that? Ascharyam etadhi manushya loke.
Ascharyam etadi manushya loke.
What is so surprising in this human? Sudam parityajya. Sudam parityajya visham pibanti. What is that Sudam? Sudam means Amrutam. Amrutam parityajya. Throw away this Amrutam. Visham pibanti, the material desires. They drink this Visha every day. Sudam parityajya visham pibanti. What is that Sudam? Namani Narayana Gocharani. Namani Narayana Gocharani. The names of Lord Hari. Instead of taking the names of Lord Hari, Tektvanya Vachak Kuhaka Patanti. Tekyanya Vachak. Instead of taking the names of Lord Hari, they talk only garbage. Prajalpa. From morning till night, until we sleep, we talk only Prajalpa. So whenever we talk Prajalpa, most of the time we waste on phone, on WhatsApp, right? Do you all agree? Saying? Yes. So first thing tomorrow you have to do is check your screen time. Okay. So screen time should reduce from tomorrow on. So Tektyanya Vachak Kuhaka Patan. That is out. Yeah. So that is, he says, Aschari Metadi Manushya Loke. So we have to be very careful. So now we are slowly will establish, like Krishna says, give up all your dharma and surrender unto me. Then we'll establish what is actually dharma. So now we'll go into the real session actually. Bhagavatam. These are preface what we discussed, just to reiterate things, because the more you reiterate, it will go into your mind and it will go into your heart. Correct? If it just goes into your mind, we studied that last week also, just goes into your mind, it goes out of the ears, right? So it should go into the mind and then into our heart. Only then we follow, right? So coming to Srimad Bhagavatam, so we have started this series, right? So we're discussing last week, Shyam Prabhu gave a wonderful synopsis of the first canto. So how many cantos are there in Srimad Bhagavatam? 12 cantos. 12 cantos, 18 volumes, what Srila Prabhupada did. Okay, so but it's 12 cantos. And each canto will have chapters. And how many chapters? Total 12 cantos, 335 chapters. And each chapter has verses. So this is the hierarchy, how it has authored Srila Vyasadeva. So 12 cantos, 335 chapters, 18,000 verses. So this is what Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we will be discussing the first canto, first chapter, first verse, 1.1.1. Okay. So first canto again, if you take first canto as how many chapters?
19.
19 chapters.
Yes. Who is that, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat pranam Sarva Shishila Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So first canto has 19 chapters. I sent that Excel sheet. Did you all get it in our Bensalem group? Okay. Yes. So first canto has 19 chapters. In that 19 chapters, the first 3 chapters, right? So I'm just splitting it so that when we get into details, then you'll know. The first 3 chapters, it talks about the 6 most important questions asked by sages at Naimisharanya. Okay, so it discusses that first 3 chapters. And Suta Goswami answers all these questions very elaborate. Okay, it's the first 3 chapters. Do you remember all those questions? We don't want to get into that now. And then the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th chapters out of 19. First 3 chapters about questions and answers. And then 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th chapter. They talk about the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so how Srimad Bhagavatam came to us, and who authored. We all know whether we are authored. Then how? It's not offered. So how Srila Vyasadeva, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. For our Manvantara, the Vyasa is called Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Again, I'm telling you, Vyasa is not a name. It's a position. One who expands the Vedas is called Vyasa. Visthar, jo Visthar karte hai, wo Vyasa hai. So our Vyasa for this Manvantara is Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. So that is the detailed history of Srimad Bhagavatam, how it came from, and because he was in a great depression, and who helped him, Naradamuni. Those are fascinating chapters. Okay, from 4th to 7th. Then when coming to 7th chapter, 7th to 19, it describes in detail about Parikshit Maharaj. Little Mahabharata we discussed, and then Parikshit Maharaj, then how he ruled, and then finally all his activities basically, and how he got cursed, and then finally how he met. Whom did he meet? Sukadev Goswami, because he was cursed for 7 days, right? 7 days he will die. At least he had guarantee that 7 days he won't die. 7th day he will die, but we don't have any guarantee, right? When we die, so we are not fortunate. He was very fortunate. So that is 7th to 19th chapter, and first canto ends with Parikshit Maharaj asking questions to Sukadev Goswami, and second canto it begins with Sukadev Goswami's words, answers. Okay, so first canto we know the essence of whole first canto, synopsis. So today we'll be discussing 1.1.1. So these, especially the first many slokas in this, many verses in this chapter, it is all set to be memorized. Okay, it is very, very, very auspicious if you just recite those slokas. It's very important. Please try your sincere effort to learn these slokas, even though we make lot of mistakes to begin with, but Krishna doesn't see our perfection. What does Krishna see? Effort. Krishna doesn't see our perfection. So please try to make a sincere effort to recite these prayers every day. If possible, read every day. So this is very important, because Krishna Tulya Bhagavat, repeat. Bhagavat. Vibhu Sarvashroy. Prati sloke prati akshare. Nana arthapai. It says that Srimad Bhagavatam is as great as Krishna. We studied that in our June 2nd and last. We studied how Bhagavatam is same as Krishna. So we discussed that, right? Krishna Tulya Bhagavat, Vibhu Sarvashroy. That means Srimad Bhagavatam is as great as Krishna. And we have to take shelter of it. Why? Because in each and every word of Srimad Bhagavatam, prati sloke prati akshare. Every sloka and prati akshara. Every akshara, prati sloke prati akshare, nana arthaka, various meanings. Not just one meaning, various meanings. So we have to be very attentive. That is why we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Because we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam means what? We are discussing about Krishna all the time. In Bhagavad Gita also he says that, when we discuss Krishna's pastimes, when we discuss among devotees, that will relish us. Tushyantita Ramantita. Do you remember that slogan? Do you remember anyone?
Which one? What is that?
I'll say Machitta. Loudly. Very nice. Thank you. Machitta Madgata Pranaha Bodayanta Parasparam Bodayanta. Bodayanta means we're preaching, we're talking about Krishna among ourselves. Machitta Madgata Pranaha Bodayanta Parasparam. Katayantaschamam Nityam. Every time discuss about stories of Krishna. Sushyanchita Ramanchita. Very pleasing, relishing, and happy. That is what Krishna says. So we have to discuss every time whenever we get chance, instead of talking all this nonsense which is not beneficial. Okay. First thing you have to see, is it beneficial to me? Is it beneficial to other person to whom I am talking? If it is not beneficial, no talking. Okay. So we have to always talk Krishna Katha. Okay. Machitta Madgata Pranaha Bodhen. So now coming back to our systematic study. So first, yes, Sojani Mate has a question.
You just said probably that none of every letter, every verse. Where is it from?
That is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. Okay. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 24.318. 24.318. So refer that. Okay. So now coming to Srimad Bhagavatam. So we discussed what canto in first canto, how it is split. So similarly, the first two cantos are said to be the lotus feet of the Lord. When you consider the whole Bhagavatam as Krishna, Krishna is Bhagavatam, right? When you consider Krishna as Bhagavatam or Bhagavatam as Krishna, don't know same mean. Then the first two cantos, we have 12 cantos, right? First two cantos are considered to be the lotus feet of the Lord. And then third and fourth canto, they correspond to Lord Krishna's thighs. Remember this. Can you remember? Because I'll tell you, you have to remember this because all of you are implementing without knowledge now. I'll come to that, how you are implementing. Okay. So first two cantos are referred to as lotus feet of the Lord. And third and fourth, thighs. Thank you, Taran Krishna. And the fifth canto refers to the navel of the Supreme Lord. See, lotus feet, thighs, and navel. 5 cantos. And sixth canto represents the chest of the Lord. And seventh and eighth represents arms of the Lord. And ninth canto represents throat. And 10th canto represents, is very important. 10th canto, face, Mukta-sanga, right? Krishna's face. The beautiful description about Krishna's face. Now we'll get into that. We're just outlining all the cantos now. Okay, 10th canto, that is represents Mukta-sanga, Krishna's face. And 11th canto represents the Shastras, Shastras, weapons, whatever he has, right? And the 12th canto represents head of Lord. Okay. So why this is important? Because Srila Prabhupada says many people, okay, out of his experience and realization, he says that many people, they directly want to jump into 10th canto. When you study Srimad Bhagavatam, want to jump into 10th canto. Why? Because of Rasa Leela. Krishna dancing with gopis. They want all these romantic things. So directly, without getting into first canto, second canto, third canto, no, directly jump into 10th canto. No, that's a wrong way of going. Okay, so you have to come in a systematic way. First canto, second canto, third. Because you won't be able to understand 10th canto, Krishna's pastimes there. If you see first 9th canto, Krishna won't come, right? Krishna will take birth only in 10th canto. So 10th canto is full of Krishna and his pastimes, right? That is the largest number of chapters also. I think it is 90 chapters, right? In 10th canto. So we don't want to directly jump into 10th canto. Similarly, when you say Krishna is equal to Bhagavatam, this is where we all come into picture, okay? Just hear attentively. When we go to temple, right? Like how we cannot jump directly into 10th canto, that is not a prescribed way. 10th canto is what? Mukaravind. So like how we cannot directly jump into 10th canto, when you go to temple, the way to offer our obeisances is, we cannot see Krishna directly face. No. We have to go from first canto. What is first canto? Lotus feet. So we have to see lotus feet first. When you see the deities in temple, you have to see lotus feet first. And then go to thighs. Then go to navel. Then go to chest. Very good. Tarun Krishna. Thank you. Then go to, yes. Then go to throat. Then go to face. Then you can see eyes. This is the etiquette we have to follow. That is why you have to remember this. Whenever you see deity, you have to remember this. Okay, don't jump into 10th canto directly. That is not there. So now we will come to the actual. What is the time now? 8:47. Sorry, I took too much. Huh? Yeah, but it's already 8:47. So do we have to continue now? Because we have only 10 minutes and it's not going to be possible in 10 minutes discussing the whole thing. Even the first sloka, that first sloka, in a Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he spoke for 64 days. And many acharyas have spoken this sloka for months together. The whole essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is in this one sloka. Whole essence of Bhagavatam. 18,000 verses, essence is in this one sloka. So it is not going to be like, we can learn like this. It is, you have to jump in detail. Okay. So I'll just tell the sloka today and then we'll continue next. So are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadiyasya yatonmaya titara vignaswarat tene brahma hridaya adikavaye mushyanti yat surayah tejo vari mrudam yata vinimayo yatra trisargom vrisha dhamna svena sadha nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimai. You want to repeat it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll say one line, you repeat. Okay. Janmadi yasyo sorry. Janmadi yasyo yatonmaya titaras Chatvesha vignaswarat Tene brahma hridaya adikavaye Mushyanti yat suraya.
मुह्यन्ति
सूरया
तेजो वारि मृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि. So the assignment for this session is that you have to recite this sloka next session. So you have to practice this. Okay.
Already read.
You want to recite now? Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yes.
Say. You can tell without seeing.
Okay, please go ahead.
Class. Yeah, it's okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janma yasya yato anvayati tara Jateshva vignasvarat Tene brahmarudaya adikavaye Muhyanti yat surayaha Tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo Yatra trisargo mrisha Dhamna svena sada nirasakuhakam Satyam param dhimahi. Anybody else?
Can I?
Yes. Online devotees, please.
Janmadhyasya dhanyavaditaratas Jateshva vignaswarat
Janmadiyasya yato anvayati tara Jatesha vignasvarat
Tene brahma hridaya adikavaya Muhyanti yatsurayah
Tene brahma kavaye Muhyanti yat surayaha
Tejo varimidam yata vinimayo Yatta trisargo mrisha
Tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo Yatra trisargo mrisha
Dhamnam svena sada nirasta kuhakam Satyam param dhimahi
Dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam Satyam param dhimahi. Anybody else? Okay, so I'll just read the translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, son of Vasudeva. Yeah, you have to be careful. Vasudeva. Okay, he's son of Vasudeva. His name is called Vasudeva. O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Who is offering this? Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is offering this. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Very nice, right? So we'll discuss in detail word to word meaning, and then how that benefits us and what should we do in our next class. Sorry, my plan is to take that in this class itself. I took the preface long. Hope that helped actually. Did that? Okay, so sorry about that, and thank you very much. So now we'll stop and take some reflections or any questions or comments or concerns or complaints. As I said in the beginning, that you have to find faults in me. That is your assignment. I need one by one. Please go ahead so that I can correct myself. Because if somebody does glorification, my ego will boost. But if somebody criticizes me, it's a painful thing to take criticism, right? It will stay in our heart for a long time. Criticism. Then we learn more. If it is positive criticism, we learn more. So I want you to criticize if I have spoken something wrong, please. Go ahead. Questions, complaints, concerns, suggestions. Online? Nobody is there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So they don't have questions. They're not like.
They are there.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's asking questions. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you have like Kahoot more often, Prabhuji? Like after the first chapter? Can you have
Say
Kahoot
it
after
again.
the chapter or like more often, Prabhuji?
He's asking whether we can have Kahoot after first chapter.
Game.
Huh?
Chapter and game. Kahoot.
Oh, Kahoot. No, Kahoot it's going to be difficult because it's in person. So we'll do Kahoot when it is inevitable and we are online. Okay, so it's going to be tough here. Okay, so any other question or reflections? You can share your reflections.
First, the prayer we did, Narayanam Namaskrityam, we said 5 people we are offering obeisances there. We got 4, we didn't understand the 5th. So we have Narayana.
Okay, Mataji says that first prayer, invocation prayer, Sutta Goswami Path, he offers his prayers and respectful obeisances to his spiritual master. Who is his spiritual master? Who is this Sutta Goswami spiritual master? Where did he hear from? No, Sutta Goswami, not Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami. He heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Srimad Goswami. So he is spiritual master. He is offering his respectful obeisances by this verse. Mataji asked, in this verse, there are only 4 personalities. Actually, it is 5. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamu Udirayet. Narayana Namaskritya is offering obeisances. Naram Chaiva. Naram Chaiva means Naram. Naram means it's combination of Nara Narayana. Two personalities. These are 2 personalities. They are twin. In Satyuga, they are twin sons of. They are Naranarayan. They are Naranaran Rishi, but they are twin sons of whom? In Satyuga, of this Manvantara. Naranarayan, they are sons of Dharma and Maruti. Dharma, Yamadharmaraj, and Maruti. Maruti is the daughter of Daksha Prajapati. One of the daughters of Daksha Prajapati will get married to Dharma, and the twins born out of them is Naranarayan Rishi. Okay. So, long story short, Naranarayan Rishi at that time, there was one more demon called Sahasrabahu. Heard Sahasrabahu? Sahasrabahu was disturbing the whole planet. So they were about to kill Sahasra Bahu is Naranarayan Rishi. But because of the dissolution of the entire planet, they were not able to do that. So they took birth as Arjuna and Krishna in this Dwapara. Same Naranarayan Rishi, they became Arjuna and Krishna here. And same Sahasra Bahu, he became Karna here. That is when they killed. Okay. They were not able to kill Sahasra Bahu. Sahasra Bahu means 1,000 armed. Armed means not arms, armor. Okay. So if you kill him, then the blood falls again, he'll become one more. So like that. So they were not able to kill, but due to some reasons, it's a long story. Okay. The same Naranarayan Rishi are Arjuna and Krishna. That is why they are very close here in this Dwapara. And they killed Karna. Karna is Sahasrabha. Okay. So those two personalities. Okay. Narayanam, Namaskritya, Naram. Naram means they are supremost being. They include both Naranarayan and Rishi. Naran. Okay. Three personalities. Devim Saraswati. Vyasam. 5 people. 5 personalities. So you have to offer obeisance. Okay. So any question, any other question? We didn't even go through first floor. Next week, Shyam Prabhu will take. So that's it. No reflection, no questions. Okay, please share. Okay, hold on.
Without knowing how we are praying at the temple and how that's connected to Srimad Bhagavatam, so it connects us when you, because every time we look at the deities every day, then it reinforces us. So I felt, oh, that's a very good thing, which we can do every day, not just here and there. It was very good thing. And then the other thing that you told, Priyam Bhasham, like you have to speak pleasingly. That's something we have to implement every day.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. But
Very difficult. That is why before we eat, what do we pray? Mahaprasade Govinda. In that day, Tara Madhya Jivvahati, Lobamai Sudurmati.
yes.
It is very greedy. This tongue, we cannot control.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do what? Tongue, 2 activities. What do? We talk and eat. Srila Prabhupada says, same thing you doubted. Instead of talking, chant. Instead of eating junk, eat prasadam. Same thing. Activities are same, but you doubted. Right? It's very difficult. Tongue is very difficult.
I felt those two are something we should try to remember every day. Then, it will help us to get closer to Krishna and
we
follow what
seriously
Krishna
we have to implement.
yes.
Otherwise, we are all in mid-50s or 40s. I don't know. I am in mid-50s, not mid-50, early 50s. Okay, we don't know. We are not lucky as Parikshit Maharaj, we get 7 days. We don't know when we are going to die. Right? So we have to seriously implement that. At least now, after being in Krishna consciousness, after practicing for so many years, decades, at least now we have to be serious enough to implement what we speak, implement what we learn. Otherwise, it's no use.
And the third thing is from animal consciousness to human consciousness and Krishna consciousness. And that doesn't just come in one day. Every day, we're chanting, and even in our every time, we have to remember that. So those are the 3 things.
Thank you, Mataji, very much. Nice reflections. Anybody else? Shyam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So one very early point that you mentioned about how fortunate everyone that is here assembled. Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Purana. It's purifying, and then we may not know its effect. just like medicine, whether the patient knows how it works or not, Srimad Bhagavatam works to clean our Kali Kalmasha, all the ill effects of Kali Yuga. So all of us actually have to meditate on that. Just hearing, okay, come, sit. Just hearing, being here, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam itself is actually very purifying, whether we realize or not. Second thing, what we hear, if we don't meditate on it, we will lose it. So the process is what we hear, we have to meditate. Like before we go to bed tonight, you speak, say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Full mantra, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama.
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Okay, now Appa will speak. Okay, you only speak. Okay, Appa will also speak. So, just before going to bed, or when we get up in the morning, tomorrow morning, it's your turn. If you can even remember one point from what we heard today, that is the best way for us to actually absorb Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is okay. Say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So just to do that, okay. So maybe like next class, because what happens, our tendency is we want to come here, and then we'll forget, right? So next class, maybe we'll pass the mic on last 15 minutes to everyone. Everyone has to share at least one reflection. That way, the best way of meditation is when we speak. We will not forget what we speak. We may forget what we hear, but what we speak, even if it is just like 10 seconds, we will not forget. So then we will attentively hear. Okay, Hare Krishna. Give it to Mukta-sanga.
Thank you. So anything else before we end the session? So that is why I keep sending these questions. Okay, every session I send the questions. So please try to answer. Now, Shamanti Mataji and Shiva Prabhu, they have been answering very diligently. Sorry, Shamanti Mataji, to take your material name. That comes very quickly.
Sarvangi, right? What's
Suvarnangi Mataji and Chaitanya. Let me keep it short because I can't. Narsimha Leela Chaitanya Das Prabhu ki jai. So they have been answering very diligently all the sessions, 2 sessions. So I'm going to send questions for this session also, what we discussed. Please take some time. It hardly takes 10 to 15 minutes to answer those if you have heard attentively. If not, the recording will be there anyway, so you can see. Okay, then answer it and send it back to me.
Then are you going to send us answers?
No, this is not to judge anyone. Because
Some we may know and some we may not know.
yeah, if you don't know, just leave it blank, then I can answer it back. Okay, but
So you're not going to put the answers in the group?
no. This is not to judge anyone, not to mark anyone. No, I know.
Answers for the questions.
No, I'll send independently, individually. Okay. So please do that, and thank you very much. Thank you, online devotees, for joining this session. Of course, you will be missing Prasadam. Thank you, Sham Prabhu and Ratipriya Mataji, for hosting this session. Haribo, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. His divine grace Yesi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.
Mahaprasad.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.